Thanks for joining us at Sporting Bet. We were joined again by Neil Channing from the Betting Emporium. Neil, as you remember, is the co-owner, co-founder of the Betting Emporium with Joe Beavers, and you can get all of his tips for the Cheltenham Festival by subscribing there. But Neil, for now, you're going to speak to the Sporting Bet viewers though, and we're going to look this time at the Ryanair chase. It looks a terrifically competitive, wide open contest again. It's got championship race status this year. Where is the Channing and Betting Emporium money going on this really good race?
Well, you say that, a very good race. I mean, it's not always been a very good race, the Ryanair. People talk about it as the kind of second division of the Gold Cup, the Gold Cup rejects. But it's not quite like that this year. It is pretty decent. What it does mean is that actually, I'm not sure there's going to be that many runners in it when I started looking at it. I thought quite a lot of the outsiders weren't going to run, and there's a big doubt about one or two of the fancied ones. The two horses trained by Malcolm Jefferson, now trained by his widow, Waiting Patiently and Cloudy Dream, there has been a doubt about whether either or both of them will run. I think if Waiting Patiently doesn't run and goes to Aintree, which it may well do, I guess that means that Cloudy Dream will run. But we have those doubts at the moment. But the one thing when you first start looking at any race, but particularly this race, is, generally start with the favourite and see what you feel about it. That's the way I like to look at it. If I can find a good argument for going against the favourite, well, then I start to think this is a race that I might want to have a bet on. Now, Undersow is clearly a wonderful horse. It wins virtually every time, and it's been terrific. But if you remember in the run-up to the Ryanair last year, which of course Undersow won very impressively, people were saying the main doubt about Undersow would be the trip. This is 2 miles, virtually 2 mile, 5 furlongs, and Undersow had previously been a 2-mile horse. Now, you probably remember that Undersow is a bit of a hard-pulling horse. It's got a bit of a mind of its own, and it did do that in last year's Ryanair chase, but it seemed to manage to keep plugging on. Some people said that after the last Undersow was idling a bit. I think if you look at it, it was absolutely cream-crackered. I mean, I think it was coming to the end of its tether. Yeah. And I think that last year's Ryanair was a lot weaker than this year's Ryanair. So I'm going to say that with a stronger quality of field, even if Undersow gets the lead and gets out there and is tanking away, I think after the last we might see a bit more of a battle up the hill. So I'm going to oppose Undersow. Also, I'm going to oppose Undersow because of the other thing we've talked about in a couple of these videos, which is the ground. Now, we don't know at this stage, we're a little bit before the festival, quite what the ground is going to be, but I'm kind of assuming for the purpose of these videos that it's going to be like it always is, just slightly on the soft side of good, not too much, to get your going stick into. And Undersow really runs a lot better on proper soft ground. So if we rule out Undersow as being a bit short at 5 to 2-ish with those kind of doubts, Waiting Patiently, we don't know at this stage it's going to run. I'm not a big fan of little old Top Notch. Now, Q Card ran a fantastic race last time, coming back at Ascot behind Waiting Patiently.
Hard race.
But it was given a hard race, and I think it's quite hard to really prep a horse to be at its absolute peak, which it undoubtedly was in that race, and then to come and do the same thing again just a few weeks later. You do have that thing of the bounce factor. You also have the thing of, it was beaten fair and square by Waiting Patiently, which could easily run in this race. There's no reason why it should reverse. It was given a great ride at Ascot, by the way, I thought. But I'm definitely going to avoid that. And the horse I've ended up with is Balco de Flo. Now, Balco de Flo is trained by Henry de Bromhead. And you already know what I like for the Gold Cup. It's Road to Respect. Now, Road to Respect beat Balco de Flo in the Leopardstown Chase at Christmas. Now, that form has been just slightly let down a little bit. Sizing John was in that race, didn't really run a race. Jack and Am, and I think there was another one as well. The Outland has got beaten since. But this horse, I don't know, I feel like back in trip to this 2 miles 5 is what we're really looking for. Plus, this is quite a young horse. It hasn't had too many runs, and I think it's an improver, an up and coming. It's owned by the sponsors, And so we know it'll definitely be targeted at this race. This has been the aim all year, and I think at 10 to 1 we're getting a bit of value. It's not an each way bet. Some people like to bet each way when they see a bigger price. I tend to consider each way depending on the shape of the race. For this one, the betting shape of the race tells me I'm going win only at 10 to 1, Balco de Flow.
Okay, Balco de Flow from Neil Channing from the Betting Emporium. 10 to 1 best price in the market at the moment at Sportingbet. Remember, you can get lots of other great prices and offers at Sportingbet, and you can find all Neil's hot tips and great analysis at the Betting Emporium. We'll see you again here soon at Sportingbet.